Somebody suck me!
Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports show that does not apologize for championship rings and tings, presented by Bolen Media. I am Ross Bolen. And man, Mondays are so much better when the Texans get a win. And they're better than better when they get a win against the culture-appropriating, Houston vibes stealing, sad-ass, dick-riding Tennessee Titans wearing Oilers jerseys. Can I get an amen? The Houston Texans beat the Titans in Tennessee 19-16 in another ugly, ugly game, but one we came out on the right side of. I still can't believe they wore those uniforms against us. But in the end, of course, the Texans and their fans get the last laugh as the loss eliminated the Titans from playoff contention this season. There seemed to be a lot of confusion because there are old heads in Houston like John McClane, who everybody knows as the General, right? Former Chronicle guy, retired, and then he was working for Mattress Mac, and now I don't know what he's doing, but he's old, and he should have stayed retired, and his takes are just largely negative and annoying. And also in this game, he was riding both sides of the fence. He was trying to excuse the Titans using the Oilers jerseys, which is the same thing a lot of Tennessee Titans fans were doing. And look, I understand if you're a Titans fan and you're defending the use of the Houston Oilers jerseys because of the technicality that of course, yes, the Adams family moved the team to Tennessee. They own the Oilers logos, branding, all the rights to all that stuff. And they're acting like we don't understand that. Like John McClane, these Titans fans, like we get it. No, we get it. It's just not right. It's just not right. There's some kind of a confusion around, like, Titans fans are saying, like, y'all didn't even show up and support the team. Y'all didn't want the team. That's not what happened. That's not really what happened. It's not the way this went down, right? Like, it's my understanding that Adams, the owner, wanted, I mean, I was a little kid, so I don't have, like, the full memory of all this. I know some of the older listeners do, or viewers do, but they wanted a new stadium. The city didn't agree to that. Then Adams was talking to other cities behind the mayor's back. The mayor got butthurt about that. Like, it was this whole drama that didn't really involve the fans. Whether or not the fans were showing up or pissed off, like, there was a lot of unfortunate shit that happened on the field with the Oilers too. Some historic meltdowns and blown leads that were obviously disappointing for the fans. But, like, to say that the city of Houston didn't love the Oilers is patently insane. To say that we weren't upset when the team was taken from us is insane. And of course, karma, a dish best served hot, comes and smacks the Adams family in the face. The Titans have never done shit. Like, fairly disappointing on a year-to-year basis. A few years where they were very competitive, for sure. Super Bowl contenders for maybe a couple years in there. But all in all, haven't really done shit. Of course, the Astros and Texans, once the Texans came in, a new NFL stadium, a new MLB stadium. Clearly, Houston was willing to do the things it needed to do to become one of the biggest sports cities in the United States, and they left the show early. And that's their fucking problem now. So, like, all things considered, like, we've been rocking Oilers gear in the city of Houston ever since they left. And before they left, obviously. But, like, that team, that logo, that brand is ours. Nobody cares about the technical rights or ownership. It's ours in terms of culture. It belongs to Houston. It belongs to Houstonians. It belongs to Oilers fans. Nobody in Tennessee was an Oilers fan. They're not drilling for fucking oil in Tennessee. It doesn't even make any sense. And there are a lot of examples of shit like this. Like, yes, the Lakers wear the Minnesota throwbacks on occasion. I don't think there was that level of contentious, like, breakup between Minnesota and the Lakers. And that was for fucking ever ago. This was in everyone watching the NFL currently's lifetime that's older than 30 years old is aware of what happened with the Oilers and the breakup and all that. So, like, Titans fans trying to explain it to us like, oh, they're not even yours. Like, shut the fuck up. We know. We get the technicality. We don't care. That's our shit. That's our shit. It was fly as hell, coldest uniforms in the league, probably all around the coolest team name, branding, logo, color scheme, all that shit, and we lost it because of some asshole. So we're not going to let go of that. And then y'all coming out and wearing it against us is just trolling and disrespectful trolling on that note. Having to see DeAndre Hopkins in a fucking Oilers jersey going off against the Texans is the last thing anybody wants that's a football fan in Houston. All right? Fortunately, he didn't do that. But watching the Texans versus the Oilers was weird in a bad way, not like in a nostalgic, cool way. Like they're wearing the jerseys to honor a team that didn't play in that city, that the fans of that team now don't know anything about or care about, against the city that does know about that team and care about it. It's fucked up. Any way you slice it. And if you want to go about it from the business angle, then you're a dickhead. From a sports fan angle, it's wrong. Period. End of argument. As a sports fan, if you go at this unbiased, it's wrong. So to have John McClain sitting there, the old Oilers players love it. Like the Tennessee Titans gave him a home. Man, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear that shit, John. If you want to go dick ride the Addams family and stay under their thumb or suckle the teat or whatever it is that you're doing, go do it. Please. Leave us alone. Don't talk to us then, because we don't want to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that shit. It is a heated thing for Houston sports fans, for former Houston Oilers fans, for Houston Texans fans, even ones that were too small to really grasp what was going on like me. That was my dad's team. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a little boy watching the Oilers with my dad, that was a thing that then got taken away from me. So even generations that were like too young to fucking grasp NFL football or really be a big enough fan for it to matter, we got affected by that shit too. But nobody wants to hear your fucking takes about how the Titans are rightful owners of the Oilers fucking trademark and shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And this is what happens when you poke the bear. We were down like 9 fucking starters. We ran Case Keenum out there, and we still beat your dog shit wannabe Houston franchise with 19-16. Yeah, the Titans fans should be embarrassed. That's a truth that cannot be escaped at this point. That to lose to us in our jerseys is funny as hell. To watch the Texans beat the Oilers is a thing we shouldn't have had to do, but is still, by all rights, hilarious. Very, very hilarious. So yeah, anyway, Titans fans, John McClain, fuck off, shut up. Don't nobody wants to hear your shit, all right? J.J. Watt announced after the game that the jerseys and the logo have to go back to the Texans now, that it's only right. Winner of that game should get to keep it. Obviously, J.J. speaking in jest and is a huge like Houston football guy. As a result of, becoming a cornerstone icon of the Texans franchise. But it's nice to see JJ out there on the front line standing up for us too, because it was weird, man. It was weird. It was wrong. Nothing anybody can say can make that right. And the NFL shouldn't even allow it. It doesn't make fucking sense. It's insulting. It's a slap in the face to Houston fans. Case Keenum. That was something. I mean, there was a point in the game where I was like, we fucked up. We should not have run Case Keenum out there. Davis, the neck, Mills should be at the quarterback spot here. Keenum looked rusty. He's also older. He's not the same dude as he was last time he played for the Texans or when he was playing for the Vikings and the Minnesota Miracle and all that shit. Like, didn't look like the same Case Keenum. That being said, he got the job done. He was 23 for 36 for 229 yards, a touchdown, a really, really bad pick six that I'm not entirely sure whose fault it was, but it looked like it was Case's fault. He got sacked 3 times. Some of them were really, really bad sacks where he spun the wrong way or tried to scramble the wrong way, and it was like 19-yard losses and shit. It was not pretty from Case. And I realized, like, legend in the city. I get it. U of H, Cougars, all that shit. But still, this was sketchy. To the point that I said after the game, and I don't know if this is the correct take, but it's my take. I don't think we should run him back out there again. He didn't, to me, he didn't look better than Davis Mills. Now, Davis Mills is not perfect. Like, we've seen him. He can be bad, too. But I just don't see how Case gives us a better chance to win. Now, all of that said, that's just, again, my personal opinion. If it was me, I would probably run Davis Mills out there next week if we don't have C.J. Stroud back, which obviously, fingers crossed, option 1A, C.J. Stroud is back. That's who you go with, obviously. That's what we're rooting for. We're hoping for. We're praying for. But in the event that he's not ready, I don't know if I want to see Case out there. Maybe fucking do a dueling quarterback thing, man. Like, I don't know. I know that messes with other things too, rhythm of the game, all that shit. But I'm just saying, this was very difficult to watch from a quarterbacking perspective. And all due respect to Case Keenum. All right, I'm not trying to fight a bunch of Keenum fans in the comments, but 79.5 QBR, again, get the win. That's all that matters. But, like, holy God, he tried everything in his power to not get the win, it seemed like. It was a struggle. It was a struggle that was very challenging to watch. And before I forget, like, look, this team, the NFL is insane. And this team is frustrating because we've had a lot of losses this season that felt like they shouldn't have been losses, right? Like, we lost to the Jets last week. The Jets just got beat by the Dolphins 30-0. 30-0. They didn't score a single point. The Jets put up 30 points on us. We lost to the Jets 30-6. The next week, they lose to the Dolphins 30-0. That is not a good look. That is not a good look. And it's like we're in this big pile now of 8 and 6 teams that are trying to make the playoffs. And it just feels like there's 3-4 games this season that we should have won or shouldn't have lost. That as a result, I mean, like, if we had just picked up 1 or 2 of those, we wouldn't be in the stupid fucking pile. We'd be at the top of the division and in a playoff spot. Now, I said last week, I don't even know, like, if the playoffs are the goal. I just want the team to get healthy again because this is ridiculous. Like, the amount of injuries is ridiculous. We lost Jimmy Ward this week. Another injury, another guy in concussion protocol. Our safety, no less, which the defense didn't look better after he went down. And we're just so banged up that I don't even know if it's worth it to, like, get into the AFC playoff slot and then fucking get the shit kicked out of us and embarrassed on. Like, the bad vibes that drag the city, the fan base down into the pit where we're used to being, I'm trying to avoid those at all costs. It's why the Jets loss was so brutal. Because that was pre-2023 Texans vibes. We don't want those. Those are disgusting. And going and getting, like, making the playoffs, getting all happy and excited about it, like, we're back. We are Texans. Woo, football time in Houston. And then getting fucking goose-egged by somebody in the first round and just embarrassed on national TV. I don't know if we need that. So point being, I'm not all that concerned with making the playoffs or not this season. What I'm concerned with is the team getting healthy again. Like, eking out wins against division rivals who are wearing our former team's jerseys is fucking tight. But I just want to see the team get healthy again. And with where we're at, like, that, seeing the Jets not be able to score a single point, I was like, holy God. Like, there's just such a big gap between us and the Dolphins is what I'm saying. Between us and real Super Bowl contenders. It's our first year with a new coach and a new quarterback, rookie head coach. Like, do we want a playoff embarrassment being something that hangs over our heads? And if you're sitting there like, well, you don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Like, bro, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And so do you, even if you don't want to admit it. And I don't know if we need that. So anyway, back to the game. Keenum was, whatever. Kaimi Fairbairn, welcome back. Holy crap. Dude, kicker in the NFL is one of those things, like, you don't realize how important it is until you have a really good one. And Fairbairn is pretty fucking good. Like, I don't know if he's great, but he's really, really, like, 4 for 4 on field goals, including the game winner, 2 for 2 from 50-plus yards. We saw what it was like without him. We don't want to go back to there. Need to keep him healthy because it's a huge difference maker. Having a guy that can drill a 50-plus yard field goal consistently changes everything in terms of the outcome of the game. He was awesome. Great to see him out there. They need to sign him to an extension. He is fantastic. Really, really like him and what he brings to the table, and having a leg you can rely on It's nice, and it's not something we've had that often in this franchise's history. MVP of the game, Devin Singletary. Not a difficult one to pick this week. 26 rushes, 121 yards. He has single-handedly established the ground game for the Texans. The way he runs is the style that we need with the offensive line that we have. Making great reads, great cuts. Has not coughed up the football. Been super reliable. And he just keeps fighting. He's been great. Really, really enjoyed watching him run. Dameon Pierce, nice little backup there. But, like, Singletary is the dude. No argument around this. None to be had. 4.7 yards per carry for him. Again, 26 carries, 121 yards. Devin Singletary is the reason we won this game. He is. Keenum couldn't do shit through the air. Couple few passes that made you think, all right, he's getting it going. But, like, this was the ground game that won this game for us. The ground game and the defense who sacked that jacked fucking douchebag that the Titans have like 7 or 8 times. I mean, they were all over him. His name is slipping my mind at the moment. It doesn't matter. They're not important enough to matter. I don't have to remember their quarterback's name. Noah Brown, another great game as option number 1 for Case Keenum. I think he had 11 targets, but 8 receptions, 82 yards, and our only touchdown. Again, just to reiterate, like when the wide receiving core is healthy, between Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown, you've got 3 studs at this point. You factor in a couple of these other guys, Dalton Schultz. We've got real weapons on offense, like way more than we thought we would going into this season. If the concern was like, will CJ Stroud have enough guys to throw to? The question has been answered. He absolutely does. The offensive line has been a little questionable for sure. The run game at different points in the season was non-existent and awful, which is why Singletary breaking out has been such a huge plus. But we have the receivers when they're healthy, which right now, guess what? They're not. But Noah Brown steps up, gets it done in this game as the number 1 option for Case Keenum. Now we look to what we've got going on the rest of the year, right? Texans are 8-6. 8-6. So are the Jaguars. So are the Bengals. So are the Colts. It's a fucking traffic jam here, all right? The Bears should have and could have beaten the Browns, but lost. So Cleveland is 9-5. They should be 8-6. They're 9-5 with the top wild card spot in the AFC. Thank you, Chicago. We appreciate that. The Cowboys shit the bed on the road once again against the Bills this time. So the Bills are 8-6 too. Thanks a lot, Cowboys. So there's a pile here of 8-6 teams. It's going to be a crazy last 3 weeks of the season. And just to reflect, if you told us going into 2023 that we would be in a pile of 8-6 teams competing for an AFC wildcard spot, potentially, the division is still up for grabs too, I would add. We would be very, very happy with that. It's just that the way the season has unfolded, where, 5-6 games in, we're going, holy shit, we're actually significantly better than we thought we would be at this point. And then all these injuries start to occur, and it's like, oh, god damn it, it was weird games with weird losses. Most of, if not all of our losses are like 1-score games in the final 4 minutes. It feels like we should have more, and then now we've lost so many starters. Again, we played this game against the Titans with a ridiculous amount of important position players out, and we still got the win. Fuck you, Titans. It's just that now with where we're at, with 3 weeks left, we're playing only teams in this pile, by the way. So it's like, Cleveland is 9-5. That's who we play on Sunday, the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, they don't have Deshaun Watson. Browns are still a solid team, have performed well without him. And we're going to need to win that game. We're going to need to win out, really, is what we want to happen. I mean, playoffs aside, we want the best result possible for this team and for D'Amico Ryans in their first season, right? So, got to beat the Browns. Then we play the Titans the next Sunday. Again, we just fucking played them. Weird scheduling to me. And then we close out the season against the Colts again. I guess that's like a tradition. So we're playing teams that are, who knows how the Titans will look in these next couple few games when they're not playing for anything because they're out of the playoffs, right? Will Levis, that's his name. I remembered. He got pretty banged up in this one too. Being sacked as many times as he was, like it's hard to stay healthy and get hit that often. And all in all, though, I would say I feel for him because, like, he seemed like he's got some talent, more than I thought he would as an NFL quarterback. I mean, he can move, he can run, he's tough. You have to tackle him to tackle him. He's not just going to go down. Like, he will run you the fuck over. He is jacked, he is big. He's got some arm strength. He just was getting no time in the pocket because our defense was all over him. Anyway, so the Colts are 8-6 with us. Depending on how things go for them the next 2 weeks, just like it depends on how it goes for us the next 2 weeks, we could be in a situation where the winner of the Colts-Texans game is the one who gets into the playoffs. That would be wild. You've also got the Jags to consider, obviously. And if nothing else, what an exciting time for Houston Texans fans to actually have shit matter down the stretch here. But that takes me back to my original point that, like, the most important thing for this team is health. Tank Dell is gone. He's not coming back this season. Nico Collins could come back. You have to hope C.J. Stroud, and you have to think C.J. Stroud will be on the field against the Browns this upcoming Sunday, and then it's just about praying for his health through these last 3 games. We'll see if we get any of the other guys that were injured back. Like, we have a left tackle out. There was just all kinds of people, all kinds of starters out in this Titans game. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think the best approach for us as Texans fans is not to look at this as like playoffs or bust or like, we got to make a Super Bowl run this year. Like, that would be amazing for sure. But we just want to end the season in a way that we maintain the pride we built up over these first, what are we at? 14 weeks, 15 weeks. We already had our bye. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to go back to the basement, the gutter, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get embarrassed. I don't want the vibes to get shot before next season, which could be the season when we really, really are able to matter and potentially take the next step as a franchise. So there's a lot on the line here still. And it's good to get a win over the Titans, the fake-ass Oilers, obviously. But this was another really, really fucking ugly game. Jets last week, disgusting. This week, slightly less gross, but still not very appetizing. Not easy to watch. And fingers crossed we get C.J. Stroud back. Dude, the drop-off, if this game did nothing else for you, besides give you a little bit of a feeling of vengeance beating the team wearing the Oilers jerseys, it should have reiterated just how important the quarterback position is. And for Texans fans, there's probably maybe a few franchises in the NFL understand this as well as Texans fans, because we've had really good teams in the past and just not the quarterback to get it done. And then we had the quarterback, and then he was gone suddenly because he's a fucking pervert. And then we have C.J. Stroud fall into our laps at the 2 slot, and things have completely turned around for it. Not having a quarterback looks like this game against the Titans when you've got Case Keenum out there. No disrespect to Case again, but that's the definition of a game manager. You're just begging that dude to not fuck it up. He doesn't have to do anything amazing, but don't throw the pick six that you threw. Don't spin the wrong way and take a 15-yard sack with the game on the line. That's a game manager. Going from him to C.J. Stroud is night and day. Night and day. And C.J. Stroud is a rookie. That's the thing to remember. If you're not appreciating the hell out of this kid at this point, I don't know what to do for you, because he is truly amazing. Have to hope we see him on the field against the Browns, and we can move forward from the era of watching piss-poor QB play, because, again, this was fucking painful, man. It was tough out there. All right. I digress. This bustling holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all your holiday to-dos. Today's episode is brought to you by Factor. I've got 2 kids under 5 at home, a small business to run, a total lack of cooking skills, and I have been relying on Factor and loving Factor all 2023 pretty much. Starting in March, I think, is when I first started eating Factor, and they're amazing. During the insanity of the holiday season, I'm more thankful for Factor than ever. You can cross meal prepping off your list this holiday season with Factor. Skip the meal planning, grocery shopping, chopping, prepping, and cleaning up, and get Factor's fresh, never frozen meals delivered to your door. They're ready in just 2 minutes. All you have to do is heat and enjoy. I go to my fridge, I look at my stack of Factor meals, I pick the one that sounds best to me in the moment, I put it in the fucking microwave for 2 minutes, bam, it's done. Now I'm eating delicious food. It's that easy. If you're looking for calorie-conscious options over the holidays that don't skimp on flavor, try delicious dietitian-approved Calorie Smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving, or need an extra boost to support your wellness goals and feel your best during the holidays? Try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. With Factor, you can also rest assured you're making a sustainable choice. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions, source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices, and feature sustainably sourced seafood in their meals. This December, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door, ready in 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/BTC50 and use code BTC50. Get 50% off. That's code BTC50 at factormeals.com/BTC50 to get 50% off. FACTOR meals.com/BTC50, as in banging the can 50. Code BTC50 for 50% off. Rockets, I don't know. Let me pull up their schedule. I know that both Ime Udoka and Dylan Brooks got ejected in our game against the Bucks, which was last night. Bucks beat us 128-119. We are 13-10, the Rockets currently. This was on the road, so, you know, we don't win much on the road. I don't know if you've noticed. We're doing great at home. And the team marketing department will not shut up about the home win streak. They just they're confusing fans because it makes some of these fans, the way it's phrased, it sounds like it's a 10-game win streak. It's like it's 10 games at home. At home. Not in a row. But overall, just kind of a disappointing game against the Bucks. The only other game we've played since then. Oh, Dylan Brooks in Memphis. We beat the Grizzlies 103-96, and Dylan Brooks went off. 26 points on 10 for 20 shooting, 3 of 9 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. It was cool to see him play that way. He was getting barked at. They were clearly going at him, trying to get him to do something stupid, get a technical foul, whatever. They had his tribute video before the game, I believe. This was a rare road win for the Rockets in Memphis. And Dylan Brooks, look, at this, it's over. You can put a fork in it. It's done. The argument about whether or not the Dylan Brooks signing was stupid, we could end up looking at this like it was a steal at some point. Like, the guy's, he's really good. He plays with a passion and energy that's like, he reminds me of like Patrick Beverley, but a little bit bigger and a little bit better offensively. Maybe like prime Patrick Beverley. Like, Pat's been in the league forever now. He's been doing his thing forever on several different teams. All love to Patrick Beverley, but like that kind of guy can elevate your entire roster, your entire lineup. Like, that's everybody on the floor can feel that energy and feed off of it. And Dylan Brooks brings that to the table for the Rockets, who are young and soft and inexperienced in a lot of ways. Fred VanVleet is not that guy. He's a veteran leader and a much needed point guard presence offensively, that like, and a calming presence that we have not had. Fred VanVleet, not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying he's not the dude who's going to bring this level of energy, like that kind of energy, like the Dylan the Villain shit. And I love it. I love seeing him succeed, and watching him play against the Grizz was exciting. That was a cool game. Him hitting that 3 was fucking beautiful. Thing of beauty. Congratulations to Dylan Brooks, because that was a big win. I know he loved that one. In other news, I wanted to touch on very quickly. This morning, Scarface, a.k.a. Face Mob, a.k.a. Brad Jordan's Tiny Desk concert came out. I don't know if you're a Tiny Desk person or not. Suffice it to say, NPR puts together what's called this Tiny Desk concert series, where they feature artists in a very minimal acoustic type setting in like a fucking corner of a library or some shit. I don't even know where it gets filmed. I've watched a whole bunch of these, though. They're usually very, very good. And I saw Scarface, it got marketed yesterday that like he was going to be on the one this morning, and I tuned in for it. It's awesome. It's about a half hour long. It's incredible. He did 6 songs, started out with My Block, did Mary Jane, Smile, I Seen a Man Die, Fuck Faces, which was it was hilarious. And then he closed with Mind Playing Tricks on Me. It was really like Scarface. If maybe some of you are a little bit younger and Face has not been as active in the music industry as he once was. Great podcast with Willie D that he did. I don't know if they're still doing it. I've actually interviewed him before on the Ross Bolen podcast. Really cool dude, super into golf now. Had that, I believe, kidney transplant that he got from one of his sons during the COVID pandemic, whatever. But a really cool guy that without a doubt is one of the most respected figures in hip hop nationwide, much less in Houston. And when I say much less in Houston, I mean like obviously in Houston, but also nationwide. And just an incredible storyteller, one of the best lyricists in the history of rap, which Mike Dean pointed out on the keyboards. Mike Dean was so like, for those of you who only knew Mike Dean as like Kanye West's synth guy, the synth god, Mike Dean, or like after him and Kanye's breakup, Mike Dean has kind of moved on to The Weeknd, right? Because Kanye talked all that crazy shit, and now people are like, I don't want to be around this dude. He moved on to The Weeknd. He was even in The Idol, The Weeknd's little HBO show that he did this year that was weird, really, really sexual. And I thought it was entertaining, but it wasn't, let me put it this way. I had a great time watching it. It was not great. They did not get renewed for a season 2, but Mike Dean was in it. And I was telling my producer, Kade, that like when I was a kid and when I was in high school and I first got really into Zero, I remember I would see photos of Ro in like some apartment or house in this recording studio setup, and there was always this white dude with long ass hair that I was like, who the fuck? Like, how did this random white dude get into like this crew with Ro, and like where was the connection? Well, the connection is that white dude was Mike Dean, and Mike Dean produced a bunch of Scarface albums, Ghetto Boys shit, like classic Houston hip hop shit. And then, you know, as he was connected to rap a lot, he also ended up producing a few of Zero's best albums as well, like Let the Truth Be Told. And eventually, at some point, Mike made the jump from like Houston only to nationally respected, like producer, musician, all around artist. And he's a really, really interesting guy. Big stoner. Very, very stoned. The strong majority of the time is my read. And apparently he's been that way for like 30 years. So Mike was on the keyboards at this Tiny Desk concert with Face on the microphone. And then at one point he brought out a guitar, Scarface did. He like played it a little bit. But he's got Face Mob there with him. He's got like some backup singers. It was really, really dope. So if you're into Scarface, if you like hip hop in general, I could not more highly recommend you check out this little 30-minute Tiny Desk concert that Scarface did with NPR, because it was sick. And it was just like a really cool representation. Well, first, he's doing like his classic stuff. And it's a cool representation of like the mark that he left on the rap game. You can see why he's as influential as he is. And I've watched a lot of Tiny Desk over the years. This is one of the best I've ever seen. And this is an older cat, all due respect to Face, who does not perform all that often anymore. And he still has like his A game. He was incredible. He's just such a good storyteller. So I wanted to make sure y'all were aware of that as well, since we don't talk Houston music all that often in here anymore. And I have a lot of respect for Scarface. So yeah, that'll do it for today's show. Remember, every episode of Banging the Can is available on youtube.com/@bangingthecan. If you are watching on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button. Hit it, press it, smash it, comment below, leave your thoughts on the Texans-Titans game, on the Case Keenum situation versus Davis Mills, on Devin Singletary's performance, on having Kaimi Fairbairn back, any of that stuff, on the Titans wearing Oilers jerseys, on John McClain, any of that. I want to hear from you in the comments. Comment down there after you hit the subscribe button. If you are not on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, that's cool. I would still ask that you go to youtube.com/@bangingthecan and subscribe real quick, just in case you ever want to watch the video. And also it helps us grow the show within the YouTube algorithm and crazy internet nonsense. So youtube.com/@bangingthecan. Subscribe. Thank you. And on that note, please share the most unapologetic Houston sports show in existence with your friends and family this holiday season. Tell your uncles, your aunts, your grandparents, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your nieces, your nephews, everybody in your family that is a big Houston sports fan that doesn't have a problem with people saying the word fuck. Tell them about the show. I appreciate that. Help us grow. Help us stick around. Help me be able to do this into 2024. Thank you. Also support our sponsors. We had factormeals.com/BTC50 today. Factor Meals. Code BTC50 when you check out for 50% off. Factormeals.com/BTC50. Check out my media startup, Bolen Media, at bolenmedia.com. You can check out the Ross Bolen podcast wherever you get Banging the Can. And if you're looking for the episode where I interview Face, just Google the Ross Bolen podcast, Scarface. It should be in there. I got him on the phone when he was like about to start a round of golf and talked to him for 20 minutes, and it was a lot of fun. This was a couple years back before he had his health issues, and it was just a really special thing I got to do in my career. And I've talked to a lot of interesting people, but Face is one of the ones that was like, it was a highlight for me because he's such an icon, and I have so much respect for him. And grew up listening to people that wouldn't have done what they did if he hadn't done what he did. Follow us on TikTok at Banging the Can, on Twitter and Instagram as well at Banging the Can. I'm Ross Bolen. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at WRBOLEN. And I'll be back probably late next week, right? When is Christmas? 7 days away from now. So like Christmas is next Monday. Yeah, late next week, probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week, I'll be back because my producer is going to be out of town until Wednesday. So I'll see y'all late next week. Have a Merry Christmas. I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support this year. We probably got one more show in before 2024 is upon us, and that'll be that. Until next time, H-Town, stay down.